All right, ladies and gentlemen, I got your watch list coming into May 31st, 2019. We got the last day of the month, and man, we are in store for a wild ride. So I'm running behind schedule, and I think it's a blessing in disguise because we are going to just focus straight away on the plays and what we need to be talking about tomorrow. I'm not going to give you guys the keys. Here you could see pre-market. That's pre-market. One thing, we saw that effect. I didn't think we would. But here are the futures currently as I'm making this video. They've dropped. They've kind of came back up. They dropped below 25,000. They're kind of trying to climb back up here. So this is important, and this has to do with the title of this video and the main news headline. Trump is putting tariffs on Mexico. So Trump is bringing the trade war now to everybody. This has to do with the border wall. I think it's very, very surprising, but this has a big effect now. This is now setting the stage, honestly, for as many people who say, oh, they're trying to keep the markets up, this and that. For that news to be released right now is really awful timing. We are going to see an effect, or we were potentially waiting for retaliation from China tomorrow. That's kind of been what the news and everything's been hinting at, but I guess tightening up the trade pressure, we hinted at this yesterday. We said, hey, Trump is kind of bringing the trade war. He's doing blanket tariffs and duties, but now this is it's full-on own trade war is what it's sounding like. He's relating it to the wall, so this is important. It had a big effect here on the market. So again, we don't need to have any keys for tomorrow and what we're going to look at. It's very, very simple. It has to do, again, with the levels that we're going to be at. I don't think we have any reason to go up, but be careful because a lot of people don't think there's any reason to go up. So at the end of the day, if we don't get volatility in the morning or if we don't see any big breaks and solid breaks that hold, that was the key today. If we don't see that, I'm not going to be buying it, and I'm going to watch for a cuck fest and this to happen. And that's what we saw. The key levels here were 278, 279-ish today, or even just the close. We watched that and we waited for confirmation. Where did we close at yesterday? I'll have to turn off the pre-market. We closed around here. It was like 278, 40, 50. That's where we kind of stayed around. The VWAP was just about over there, and that's where we closed. So watch out for that. The other news, China's non-manufacturing and manufacturing, the main thing was manufacturing. They came out. It's slipping back into a contraction again. That's the PMI numbers. That is just not a good sign. And again, everything across the board is reacting. This is the yuan on that news with everything we saw. The peso is weakened. It has a lot more to weaken, but that's going to affect the dollar. And again, this is the main thing we talked about. This is going to relate to what we need to watch tomorrow and what is going to be very, very important. It's going to be the bond rates. We brought this up, you guys. We said, watch what happens with the 30-year. It got even worse. It was a little bit of relief and then came back down. But this is what we talked about today. I said, watch it, because once you start seeing the 2 years start getting near that 2%, these are going to start hitting the 1.9s, and things are going to start getting worse because, again, the short term is elevating while these are going down. So that is further inverting the curve, and we are really at a very, very crucial point. So I showed the dynamic yield curve yesterday. We talked about this, and essentially, I don't want to be dramatic, but you could get a big event out of this if the market does start to pick up. And again, we talked about it. Volume was weak today, and that was one of the triggers there we saw yesterday in line with this yield curve. So it's going to be dependent. And if we close down red tomorrow, if it's not a big red or it's still something small, the play is going to be setting up into next week and watching out for that. But here's the curve, seeing where we are. If it stays like this and gets worse, this is the problem, is that this is dropping, but then the 3-month is going up. It's adding a steeper tilt to that curve, but we see how it's like if the markets come down. Watch out for any volatility. So that's what we're going to watch. That it has the big potential to make moves on the markets tomorrow. And again, setting us up where we're at, we have to watch for additional news. But like I've been saying, if news does come out, it doesn't mean we have to move. So again, the key is going to be seeing how does tomorrow develop and what does it set us up. The word of the day has been set up, and I think that is more than applicable here at many corners, because tomorrow's going to do that. We now have it's a big event, and again, it's a big event because not only is this big news we could talk about verbally and be like, wow, that is big when we say it out loud, but mainly this drop right here, you're seeing it reflected in the futures. That was something enough to move it. Now they're scrambling, and it's going to add that volatility, but there's a lot of pressure, and we want to see how that plays out. So watch out for that. Let's get into the plays. So don't let me forget, you guys. Drop a like on the video. We are live Monday through Friday, 30 minutes before open. YouTube.com/the stock market. You are going to want to be there tomorrow, both pre-market and during there. And most importantly, post your watch list below. That means simply post any plays you're looking at. We want to source information. You could watch what everyone's looking at down below in the comments. So get that down there, and let's look at what we need to. Right off the bat, we watched Uber. We were going to set up a play, but I think this is going to be good for Friday because, again, it's an IPO. It moved a lot less than what people were expecting, so the contracts are going to get crushed. We should have sold that premium, but that has a potential to be a play tomorrow. Watch that move. There's Ulta. They had earnings. They were really, really dropping and plummeting, and they held up. I forgot what company did it today, but again, even on Friday, we're setting up with stuff with the contracts, but a lot of these companies, I think it was a few days ago, they could report, drop, and then come right back up. And what I mean by that is that they're going to have the report show you the direction by pre-market. It'll end up right at this spot just to continue back in that direction. So that's going to be important. Watch out for that. And then Boeing, we've been looking at this, the contracts that we had. Remember, if you guys were watching, we've been going over it. We put it out on the stream alerts if you had those plays and been following along with that. Again, even if you've been following along on stream, we've been highlighting this and saying this a ton. You know, with the pricing of that contract, we had one opportunity to take profit. If you didn't, it came down. But watch Boeing, watch how that plays. I am also going to watch Tesla too. But the main things we're going to be playing, I'm going to go after FANG. If there is any volatility tomorrow, we've already been selling premium on it and it's been working. I'm going to go after Amazon, and it's no coincidence. Amazon's right at that 1800 mark. So Amazon could set itself up for a big day. That could be something with both the weeklies or not. And again, both of those plays we made yesterday or even since Monday, this is a big lesson we wanted to highlight with what option premiums are doing. I sold the call on Tuesday. I sold the put yesterday. I'm up almost 30% on both of them. So again, we said this on stream, if you're holding these contracts, this is where some people are like, why am I losing? You know, I bought even when it was down, when it was up. That's what's happening, and it has to do with the volatility. But I'm going to watch out for Amazon and trying to set up more plays. But essentially, if we start to see big moves, I'm going to go after FANG, more specifically Amazon. I'm still in the Apple, and I like it, and I'm going to go after that. Also Caterpillar too. But again, any slow movers will be good tomorrow. So watch that. Watch also TLT. Again, that has 130. If it's starting to ramp up there after hours, I'm going to be in the money on some contracts there, so we're still holding the Junes. Those are starting to rocket now, but I'm going to be keeping my eyes out on those. I'm still playing them. Those are going to be ones to watch. UVXY will be one to watch depending on what the VIX does. But again, any of these plays, we need a continued movement, and that's what we were talking about with rates. The most important thing is going to be rates staying below that 2.7 here on the 30-year and staying at this and how the markets react. But watch them. Watch the banks, Wells Fargo and XLF. They started to come down today, and I like them. And I also made another play today on FedEx, and, you know, keep watching that too. We went up a decent amount there, but I'm going to be watching both of those. Watch for any bounces, you guys. If there's anything in the morning you like, it's going to be Friday. So now tomorrow will be an opportunity to play some options. But you guys have to be careful. I strongly, in all seriousness, I encourage you to paper trade. But I know some of you guys aren't going to listen to me. You are going to let the temptation of what could happen tomorrow get to you, and that is a problem. But again, do as you wish, but understand what that means, because again, if tomorrow is temptation and it gets people sucked in to play the weeklies and then it bounces but still ends up lower, kind of like it's been doing every single day, lower and lower and lower, one day will not be enough time. So at the very least, if you do play a weekly or a contract expiring tomorrow, you have to end in the money. If you buy them in the morning on Friday, they're still going to be expensive. You got to give it some time. But tomorrow is a day for the frog. So go, someone post it below or just YouTube the Trading Fraternity Frog. Yes, and you will see the strategy we're looking for. And I will show you some other examples here. But we want to watch and see for this stuff to frog and come about it. But be smart on Friday. Again, the contracts will be cheap, but give yourself time, because if it does extend and you do want to play this, you're going to need more time. So just don't get caught without it. Don't get caught without having the time. Be smart about it and be very, very attentive of the prices. Again, if you have, just like that Boeing showed us, you're really only going to have a few moments to take profits unless you really get in the money or something crazy happens. So watch out for that. But as far as Friday plays go, I like the slow movers. So one of them I'm going to like is UNH. This could move a lot, but it could also move very slow. So we want to wait till Friday, because again, if it doesn't move a lot in the morning or stays the same, you want to wait for a random pop and let it do something like this all day. But these Friday contracts are going to get cheap. So depending on where it opens at, we're going to aim for something near the money. Watch the UNHs. Next one, I brought this up yesterday. It had a big move again still today, Intel. So we want to see what it does in the morning, if it does make a big move, if the chip makers have stuff. But overall, you guys, I think FANG and Apple and all those will be the majority plays, even NVIDIA. Again, volatility, if we get big volatility, you want to go try to just get in the money for as cheap as possible on anything. But also, too, we have to be quick. We have to be quick and diligent to take our profits, know when to flip, know when not to flip, roll over, so on and so forth. So it's going to be exciting, guys. I think, we just got to get straight to it. Make sure you are there in the morning. We're live 30 minutes before open. Drop your thumbs up. Let me know what you guys are watching. But this is going to be wild. Watch for any developments on the news. We're going to keep you guys posted. Let's go!